One.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly Zoom meeting. Today's Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. I have, as you can see, some videos. Well, at first, we're going to have news, tell you more about news later on, and then I'll have some videos for us to look at. It's all the current operating system. And it's some good ones there. And then I'm using emojis for questions and answers. I guess the first emoji there with a lady with a raised hand, that means questions. That's for the ladies, and the guys' interpretation of happy hour is beer and pretzels. So. Uh, we'll talk about all this stuff later on. So as we all know, there was an update, and it's called the iOS or OS 26. So make sure everybody updates to the most current system. Uh, this is later is going to be recorded to all this is going to be recorded to YouTube. So just make sure that stuff is updated and you're running the most current system. On with with the news. Most of this news, believe it or not, when I got it on here, it was pertinent. But since the upgrade to the most current operating system, which is the 26, most of this stuff should have been nulled. For example, this one here, the flaw in uh, paired with iOS 18 exploit delivered zero-click spyware. Well, this is scary and stuff, but with the new operating system, all that stuff has been and hopefully wiped out and it's no longer a threat to you or anybody else. If you are interested in what this stuff did, and believe it or not, some of this is scary, um, what these people are going after. This link will take you there and it'll give you detailed instructions on what has happened and what has been done to resolve the situation. Um, that this is no longer anything to worry about, but it's a good read. Next one is like I said, no longer is this is pertinent because of the new operating system. So there shouldn't be any concern about it. The next one is basically the same thing, but because of the upgrade, this also has been reduced to almost next to nothing. This malware is has been hiding in our operating system for for some time now. It's been it tricked um, the Apple sandbox or what do they call a authentication system by presenting some legal some code that Apple actually recognized as legal, and it gave it a permission to go on. Later on, they found out, and it was a researcher found out that this thing did other stuff once it was onto your into your system. And they once they found out, they stopped it. They revoked their permission, so it's no longer operating. And again, it was overwritten. If you've upgraded, it was overwritten by 26. So it's basically null and void. again, nothing to worry about this one because of the upgrade.
Was that
Um,
was that on a Mac or was that on the iPhone or
it
what
was
was it
on a
on?
Mac. Yes, it affected Mac. So I guess my point is be aware not to load stuff that asks you to load or click OK or from some website that you're not familiar with. This stuff was on dis d discovered for a while, and it did some weird stuff that it hid itself and it created new pages to trick you into all kinds of stuff. But again, because we updated, this is no longer a threat to us. Um, the next one is is something that that the judges and the our government and the system allowed is Google has been accused of monopolizing all kinds of stuff, and because Apple agreed with Google that they want Google to be the search engine for Apple, it was determined that it was monopolizing and it was paying Google, and they took them to court. And the long story short, the U.S. Department of Justice agreed that Google can continue and do that. So Google will be providing Apple with a whole bunch of money, and Google will be the search engine for Apple devices. They fought over this for some time, but the court finally settled it, and they said it's okay to do it. So I guess we just continue. There won't be any changes or anything, or selecting another search engine or anything like that. Google is going to remain the search engine for Apple devices. Now it's up to you. If you prefer whatever you prefer, you put it out there, but the default will be Google.
So what about
Uh,
Siri?
this has nothing to do with Siri. They are working on Siri as to give it some smarts to keep up with like chatbot GPT stuff and others. But this is a payment that Google makes to Apple for using Google search engine on Apple devices. And that amounted to, if I may go back a little bit, that amounted to like $20 billion per year from Google to Apple. And that has been looked on by the court system as not quite right. But apparently they agreed that this is okay for now.
So,
I, I'm sorry, go ahead.
so in turn, what's Google using for the intelligence? ChatGPT, or what does
No,
it
Google
use?
uses their own Gemini system.
Gemini.
That's their own AI.
So they're paying Apple to use it. That's
No,
interesting.
no, they're paying Apple to use Google as a search engine, not
Oh,
the
oh.
AI engine.
Well, you get AI when you use the search engine.
R-
At least I do now.
You can choose not to.
Yeah, but why would you?
You know, some people,
what what you're getting is that first page that comes up, and that is part of a Google AI. But if you do open up Gemini, you can actually ask it a question or type a question to it, and it's going to go search for it.
I
So
find
those
it
are
just using right now, just using Google seems good enough for anything, except unless it's really deep.
well, some I ran into a couple of times to that where it was talking about stuff that I couldn't figure out. So I went down, below that, and I asked, well, I looked at other people asking the same thing, and there was different answers. So it's not perfect. Any AI out there is basically what they can get from outside. But anyway, the $20 billion will continue being paid to Apple. So
How does Safari fit into this?
What this is Google pays Apple $20 billion a year for Apple to set the default search engine to Google. That's all it's about. Money for that to be set. You can set it to whatever you want, but if you don't change it, Google is your search engine on a web browser, and Apple gets 20 billion.
You can choose to use any other search engine you
Correct.
wish.
right,
Like Safari?
no, like
It's just
DuckDuckGo.
default.
Oh,
But you can not use it, and you can use like DuckDuckGo or what's the other one? Start Page. There's another one too. I can't remember
uh,
what it is.
Chrome?
Chrome.
Well,
You
that's a
can use.
browser.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
talking about the search engine.
Bing, you could set it to Bing or,
Bing. Yeah, Bing is one of them. Microsoft. It's not set in stone. You can change it to whatever you want.
Firefox is what you're looking for.
no,
There you
That's a
go.
browser. That's
no,
not a
no,
search engine.
Oh, okay.
Firefox is not a search engine, it's a web browser.
Okay.
Yes.
Google also pays Firefox to set the default search engine. I don't know how much they get, but they do the same thing.
I think
believe-
isn't Eudora or something like that a search engine?
No,
No?
Eudora is an old email program that's defunct.
Oh, okay. Okay, so again, you can change, you're not bound by anything. You can change it to whatever you want. But the understanding between the two companies is that one pays the other to provide them with the search engine capabilities. Okay, well, this is another one. And that by looking at this is like chilly hell. Again, because we upgraded, this is basically null and void. But this stuff was put out there by a very Eastern European country out there, and this is to go to spy on other people, mainly um activists, um journalists, government entities, and this is equivalent to something that there is a company in Israel that puts out something like that also. And what this is pay per 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 whatever they can get for it. It's one of those that is so designed to be able to implement on other people's devices to spy on them. And there's a good read again. All this is out there if you want to read for this is like a couple of pages of explanation of how this works, where it comes from, who it spies on, and so forth, so forth. But anyway, with the upgrade, this should be nulled and void by now. There's a couple of more that are coming up. They're just what I want everybody else to read or see regarding us. So this there is just to reiterate that it used to be that Microsoft was the target of all these malware and bad actors and because for some one reason or another, there was a lot more of Microsoft pieces of software running out there than Apple. But this is no longer the case. It is wide open. Everybody's equal opportunity uh, take advantage of. So we are part of the the uh, hardware out there that they attack, hardware or software out there they attack, and we get attacked just as much as people running Microsoft stuff. So anyway, the next one is another one of these where this really, and this has been taken care of by Apple. Uh, this was a flaw in Sequoia where there was Microsoft, I'm sorry, Apple writes this this piece of software that it gives out to its developers, and it's used to to track the new developing software that they do, and then they put it out into into the App Store to make sure the thing works right. If it doesn't work right, it it creates a dump. Dump meaning it's a digital representation of what happened during that the process and what caused the problem. Well, Apple's not the only one. Microsoft developed something also, and it Microsoft gives it to its own developers who use it to find out or to make sure that everything runs right. With this guy by the name of the researcher Nakanawa from the security company took the Microsoft piece of software and ran it against Apple on an Apple device, and he didn't think it was going to work. The Microsoft software, he didn't think it was going to work because Apple blocks certain things, but just the opposite was true. He was able to actually look at all kinds of stuff, including passwords and keychain, and they blocked it right away. They stopped it. They notified Apple, and Apple have since patched the flaw. It no longer exists, and everything has been patched, and it never was never found in the open. And there was nobody else using it except for this guy, this researcher that found that there was a flaw. And it goes back to the Apple piece of software that what it did was gave it permissions to do this kind of stuff. And Apple took the permissions away and resolved the situation. So we are not, and we were never in in any trouble regarding losing your passwords or anything. It never went out into the public, but it was caught by this guy, and they closed the loophole. So don't worry, and this had nothing to do with the iOS 26. So I mean OS 26, because this was a totally different system, a piece of software that was put out there. So the next one is this is all good. How older people are reaping brain benefits from new tech. So I was proud. I was reading this. Given decades of alarms about technology threats to our brains and well-being, some call digital dementia, one might expect seeing negative effects, but just the opposite is true. The use of everyday digital technology has been associated with reduced risk of cognitive impairment and dementia. And this is somebody by the name of Michael Scullin, a congenitive neuroscientist of Baylor University. This is a real good read, believe it or not. And I don't have much about it because it's more than 2 pages, but he goes on and he says, believe it or not, it whatever was bad is good now, and it is showing good. People with uh, he especially mentioned people in advanced age are able to navigate computers and think logically, and he says this is nothing but good stuff. So go ahead, Jan.
Is that because it's a use it or lose it kind of thing? We
I
you have to stretch your brain to use technology. I would assume that's the reason, but
I kind of agree. You know, if you don't lose it, you don't use it, you start losing it. And I noticed that some people isolated from everybody else, believe it or not, start losing language, start being having problems having being able to explain themselves or that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that's what it is. It's use it or lose it. So hooray for us. You know, the more we use this, you know. So there is more. There is more. And this is another one. This is from Herald Review. This is Grand Rapids, Michigan. Herald Review. Why do screens keep you up? It may not be blue light. The link between the light and the sleep is murkier than we thought, said Hartstein, an assistant professor of psychiatry at the University of Arizona. It is untrue now, not untrue, they're unsure if the blue light is causing any problems at all. There could be, they're attributing it to multiple situations, like being disturbed, somebody snoring in bed, having not going to bed on time, or not getting enough sleep, that kind of stuff. They're no longer they are no longer sure that it is blue light that's causing it. And on top of that, they also said that most of the computers nowadays have the ability to dumb down the blue light when it gets dark out. For example, our Macs and iPads, you can set that so the blue light is uh, is kind of taken care of at night when it's dark. So they're no longer sure about this blue light thing, so don't worry about it. It's all cool. I tell you the truth, I sometimes stay on for a while, and I don't think I ever have a problem going to sleep. So probably if you ask my wife, it'd be a different story, but that's what I think, and I stick with my story. Anybody else have any questions? Well, if not, here we go. This this is the new operating system. Liquid glass is causing a distortion optical illusion for some iPhone users. Now, I didn't find this on my phone, and I didn't find it on anything else, but they're saying that they're seeing this. Now, I was able to run this, and so let's see what happens. It might go back or it might start. So keep an eye on this AI thing, how the light is going to change from 45 degree to 180 degree and start moving. Hopefully this is going to work. It didn't. Come on, let's see. There. See it moving? I have not seen any of that.
I saw it there.
you mean
Uh,
the edge of the black.
right, right. I have not experienced anything like that on my system, so I don't know what they're talking about. or who's saying, or what kind of liquor, cheap liquor they're on. I just don't know. I could not find that. So, but I had to show this because there are people out there, and obviously somebody's trying to show you that there is some kind of, and it's not really anything moving. It's the light being displayed at different angles.
I think
That's
they
how they
always
do.
try and say something nasty.
Yeah, I know. You know, people want.
Well, text me whatever they're trying to say. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, well, I have the link for it, so in there, and you can go ahead to read that and see for
Oh,
yourself. Here, I was lucky to be able to show you that. Otherwise, it just goes to the next screen. But anyway, I didn't find anything. Eh, I don't have any problems. I kind of had to adjust stuff, but everything works just fine.
Was there a
So
link?
there was a link.
Could you
There
put it in the
isn't one.
chat?
Yes.
The
And this,
entire news is in the chat. There's a document with
right.
all click on links for every one of these news stories in the chat.
And the next thing here is I take it as iCloud support has been stopped for iOS 10 and macOS Sierra users. So anybody going back to those operating systems is not going to be able to use iCloud. This is just to alert everybody. We've had a lady last time. She was running some old operating system, probably didn't even have iCloud on it, but Apple is not supporting iCloud for those systems and lower as of right now. So I'm sure anybody out there running anything out lower is older than that. You don't have iCloud to start with, so nothing to worry about. Okay, now we have with iOS 26, we have gained for the longest period of time, I think since the pyramids were built, Apple did not have a way to paste more than one thing at a time. While with with this OS 26, this is for Macs only. We can have up to 10, I believe, different things copied to the clipboard and be able to paste it someplace else, not just once and then go copy something else and clip it and paste it someplace else. I think it's up to 10 different things. I don't think it's unlimited or 10 or more. I'm not sure at this time, but it's 10 or something. And again, the link over there is going to show you and explain to you that how many and how many actually you can store in the clipboard. But for those of us with the Macs, and when you copy and paste, you can copy up to 10 plus something different pieces of text and copy it and paste it someplace else from now on. That's a good thing. Ah, about time. Okay, I say it's a good thing for me because tell you the truth, when I do create these presentation, I do a lot of copy and paste stuff, so this helps me out.
Well, when you paste, how do you tell it to paste the second or third thing that you put in there? I'm confused on how that would work.
I think when you go press the paste button, there is a copy, a Control C or a Control V. It's going to give you an option if you have more than one. It's going to give you a range of what you have out there and you click through it. In other words, uh, use the
List.
cursor key,
Right.
cursor
No,
keys to
it's not.
point.
Hello? It's part of the Spotlight search now.
Oh,
The clipboard storage is part of Spotlight search on the Mac.
Yeah, something like that.
So
But
how
you're
does
going to be able to
how does it
choose.
work? If you copy multiple items, how does that work in Spotlight? You want to pick which one you paste in. How does that work?
You go to Spotlight, and on the right-hand end is the clipboard, and you choose one and just copy it and then paste it. It's a catalog of the last things that you clipped, that you copied.
Okay.
All right, well. Anyway, we were able to copy more stuff than we were able to before. And however I'm able to get it out there, it's a lot better than copy one at a time and paste it. So thank you. So here's all the Mac Tahoe 26 operating system top 10 features. Let Gary tell us all about this.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Let's take a look at the top 10 new features in macOS Tahoe. Now, if you see this video early enough, you're still waiting for macOS Tahoe to get released. But for most people, it will already be out and you can update to it. Either way, here are the top 10 new features to look for. The one that gets the most attention is the new design called Liquid Glass. And it changes pretty much how everything looks, although not really how much works. It just has a basic new design to it. Like any design change, you're going to get some people saying they hate it, some people saying they love it, and most people not saying either one, which is fine. The important thing is that this is the first unified design that Apple has released. In the past, macOS elements have made their way into iOS, iOS elements have made their way into macOS, and so on. But this is the first time Apple has really come up with a design and implemented it across all of its different operating systems at once. But this new design also comes with some new options. You can now go into System Settings and then go to Appearance, and there's some new things here. You can change the icon and widget style to theme your Mac. So default makes it look like before, but you can now switch to dark, and notice how the icons in the dock changed, and also elements here in the left sidebar changed as well. You can also go with a clear look instead, like this, and clear can be dark or light like this. For each of these first three, you can change the folder color. You can see the folder color there and its default blue, but you can change it to another color like this, and the default folder color will change, and you can choose any color basically from some sliders. But in addition to that, you can go over to the tinted option here, and that will use that folder color for more things. So, for instance, I could change the tinted color to red, and notice how not only do the folders change and the sidebar buttons here, but also other icons as well. And you have more options and can choose from more colors if you want. Now, in addition to changing the default folder color to something, you can also change individual folder colors. I can choose the folder here and then control click, right click, or two finger click on it and select Customize Folder. And then I've got the option here to change the color. It's actually using tags, the tags that are applied here, and pulling the color from them. And it can use any one of the Finder tag colors to change the color. In addition to that, you can also change the icon that's on a folder. So by default, there's nothing there, but you can choose something else from this list of objects and other icons. You can also click on emoji down here and then choose an emoji character and use that on the folder. So there's lots of ways to customize folders to make them stand out. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MacMost at Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. Now, nowhere is Liquid Glass more on display than in Control Center. It's no longer really any kind of window. It's now really just these floating glass buttons above your desktop. And in macOS Tahoe, you could customize Control Center. At the bottom here, you'll see Edit Controls. Click that, and you have this whole interface here for finding new controls And if you find something you want to add to it, whether it's just a button or some sort of larger feature, you can drag it into one of these slots. You can use the minus buttons here to remove things or just drag things to change their order in Control Center. So there's a lot you can do to get the functions you want now in Control Center and remove ones you never use. Now, a big new change in macOS Tahoe is that there's no more Launchpad. Launchpad has been removed and it's been replaced with a new aspect of Spotlight. Most of us use Spotlight to launch apps before anyway, and you can still do Command Space and then type the name of an app and launch it that way. But in addition to that, after you bring up Spotlight, you can do Command 1 and it goes to a list of applications. When you search now, it's only going to find applications, or you can just scroll through them yourself or use one of these categories here to find what you want. You can also get to this by launching Spotlight from the menu bar, and you'll see these buttons here. You can click this one or use Command 1 at this point to go to the applications list. Another new part of Spotlight is a clipboard history. So instead of Command 1, you would use Command 4 or click this button here, and you get a history of your clipboard. Text, images, and other things will be saved here. And you can just click on something to insert it where you are. Like if you're working on a document and there's a piece of text, you can click here to copy it to the current clipboard, or control click, right click, or two-finger click and perform a variety of other actions on each individual item here. This means for most people, you won't need a clipboard manager anymore. Third-party clipboard managers will still have a lot of advanced functionality that this doesn't have. But for the basics, you can just use this new feature of Spotlight. And as you can tell, Spotlight has had a major overhaul, and another aspect of it is this third part here, the Command 3 part that goes to Actions. And this gives you a variety of different actions that you can take in Spotlight. So you can select one of these by, say, double clicking on it, and then if there's more information, you would fill it in. So you could type a message and then type recipients and send a message right from Spotlight. You could also assign quick keys to anything you want. So for instance, if you wanted to have create note be assigned to CN, I could do that. And now I can bring up Spotlight, type CN, and you can see that'll be the first hit there, and then return. And then I could type in this case, the contents and the folder for the new note. There are a bunch of new apps that come with macOS Tahoe. For instance, there's the Journal app, which is the same that's been available on the iPhone, but now you can do it on your Mac and it'll all sync over iCloud. But in addition to that, there's a new app called Phone. And this connects to your iPhone and allows you to do things like, for instance, make phone calls on your Mac through your iPhone. You can also access your list of calls and voicemails through this app as well without having to get your iPhone out. Perhaps the most powerful new feature of macOS Tahoe is in the Shortcuts app. So in the Shortcuts app, now you can create automations. Automations are just regular shortcuts, but they are triggered not by you actually triggering the command manually, but by something like the time of day, an alarm going off, receiving an email message or a regular message from somebody, when stuff in a folder changes, kind of like folder actions in Automator. There are a whole bunch of different triggers here for automations, and then you can have these perform certain actions or link to existing shortcuts. And finally, another new app is the Games app. And the Games app ties together all sorts of aspects of gaming, kind of what we had in Game Center before, but now this will also list things that are on Apple Arcade. If you're a subscriber to that, it'll show you your complete library of purchase games, including iPhone and iPad games that you can play here on your Mac. And you can launch them from here. You can manage them from here. You also have ways to play against other players and challenge others with scores and things like that. So a lot of different aspects of gaming, especially the casual games found in the App Store and in Apple Arcade, can now be managed here in this new Games app. And there are a ton of smaller features available throughout macOS and the apps that come with it. I'll be taking a look at these 10 new features and some of the smaller ones in upcoming videos. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.
There. Questions or anything?
The situation where he switched the phone to his Mac. I was trying to figure out how he did that. He did it so quickly. I didn't follow it. Did anybody follow that well enough to?
There's a new app called the phone app on the
Oh,
computer.
oh, okay.
Bring that up and you can manipulate your phone calls, listen to your messages, put your call history, such as that.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
The phone
Yeah.
app's also in iPad OS now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's useful to know.
Especially with your new cool orange phone.
Yeah, Mike.
I haven't forgotten.
He also touched on the way to copy and paste from by searching. In other words, when you can
You can have multiple copies.
write multiple things you choose from, and
Right.
this will copy it for you. Well, the next one is by him again, 26 hidden features to try out on 26. So here we go.
So while the big new features of iOS 26 are things like the new liquid glass look and the new preview app, there are a lot of small features that could be useful to you. So let's start off by looking at the lock screen. Of course, you've got the time here at the top of the lock screen. You can customize that more now in iOS 26. So to do that, you want to go to the Settings app and then go to Wallpaper. And then from there, choose the wallpaper that you're using. So I'll just choose this one here and I'll click on it to customize. Now you'll notice the little handle there at the bottom right corner. You could drag that and make the time even larger. But another thing you can do with the lock screens now is you can use the new spatial scenes ability to take one of your photos. So I'll just select one like, say, this one here, and I'll use that as my wallpaper here on the lock screen, and I'll tap this button here that will convert that to a spatial scene. And now you see I can move my phone. I'm just kind of changing the orientation a little bit and how it figures out which objects are near, which objects are far, and makes the entire thing look 3D. You can do this for individual photos without going to the lock screen too, by just going into the Photos app and then choosing any photo you want. Like let's choose this one here, and then look for that spatial scenes button here at the top right. And it converts it to a spatial scene, and now you can just enjoy that there on your phone. You can even zoom in and use it there to just get some depth out of your photos. Another new feature of the lock screen is that now not only will you see the amount of battery you've got left, but if your phone is charging, you'll see an estimated time to a full charge at the top as well. And speaking of battery consumption, there's a new way to figure out which apps are using the battery the most. So you go into Settings and then you go to Battery. And then you'll see, as before, apps that are using a lot of battery power. But now instead of trying to figure out which apps are using the most battery based on the amount they've used and the amount of time, you'll get these little alerts here to the right. You can see here I've got a few apps that are using a lot of power. So you can go into each individual app like this and get more details as well. Now when you take a screenshot by holding the volume up button and the side button, we've got a new interface now in iOS 26 for how this looks. If I tap on the floating thumbnail there at the bottom, you can see things look quite a bit different now. It's just as easy as before though to crop to what you want, to use the markup tools here, and to share. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MacMost at Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. Now if your iPhone is new enough to be capable of using Apple Intelligence, you can take a screenshot and use visual intelligence to identify things that are on the screen. So here I am in an app and I will take a screenshot like this, and you can see it's going to give me information there at the bottom
of things I could just tap and it will look it up. I could also just use my finger and circle something in here, and then it will look it up, and you can see how it's going to search to find things that have to do with whatever it is I circled. Also, after doing that, I can tap the speech bubble at the bottom left, and it's going to look things up using Apple Intelligence, and I can ask questions about it as well. Now the camera app looks very different as well. It now has video and photo modes at the bottom and a lack of buttons that you may be used to. But you can customize which buttons are there by going into Settings and then go down to Camera and then look for indicators here. And you could turn on or off flash or live photo or other features like action mode depending upon your model. There's also a new feature that will alert you if it detects some dust or dirt or something on the lens of your iPhone's camera. Now the Messages app has some new tricks as well. One of the things you could do is you can use the plus button here, and in addition to adding all the media and things you could do before, you can add a poll now. So you can poll the people in a group chat for, say, where everybody wants to meet for dinner or talk about next. You could also set a background for a conversation. So this just could be between you and one other person, or in a group chat like this, just tap on the info at the top there and then select backgrounds here. And then you could set a background to one of these or use one of your photos. So for instance, I can use this one here, and it's even animated like that. And that's now the background for whenever I go into this conversation. Also note that before you could only select the entire bubble here and copy it. But now you can also use Select here and just select a piece of the text and copy that. And also there's the ability to do in-chat translation. So if you're chatting with somebody in the Messages app that's speaking a different language and it's one of the supported languages, it should translate for you to your language, and they could do the same as long as they're using iOS 26. Now in Settings, if you go down to Apps here and then go to Phone, there's a new setting in here for screening. So in addition to being able to screen unknown callers and silence unknown callers, you can now choose Ask Reason for Calling. And if somebody isn't in your contacts, then what they'll hear is a message asking them to state their name and the reason for calling. It'll then display this as text for you when your phone rings, so you can decide whether or not to answer. Another thing we have now is in the Phone app. When you go to the Calls page, you can go to a caller here and you'll see details, but you can also look at their call history. So you can go back and see your entire history between you and another person. Now the Music app has a few new tricks as well. You can now go to your library here and go to Playlists, and you can now create a new folder. Before you had to do that on a Mac and then it would appear here syncing over iCloud if you were, say, using Apple Music. But now you can actually just create new folders right on your iPhone and store playlists in them. You can also pin playlists, songs, albums, and artists. So here I've got a playlist. If I tap and hold on it right here, you see I can pin this playlist. So now when I go back to the top of my library section, I'll see that playlist right there. If I go to Artists and I pin an artist, you'll see there I now see an artist and a playlist pinned to the top. I no longer have to dig down into these sections to find those. And another new feature is when you're listening to a song that's not in your language, if it's a supported language, you can go to the lyrics for it and you could see translations right here underneath the original language. You can also tap here and hide the translation, and you can with some songs like, say, Korean, Japanese, Chinese songs. You can show pronunciation and then get English pronunciation guides underneath the actual song lyrics. And that kind of ties into the iPhone Sing functionality right here, so it makes it easier for you to sing along with those pronunciations. Also now when you're playing a playlist, you should notice this button here that you can switch on or off. That is Auto Mix. And Auto Mix doesn't just fade one song into the other in the playlist, but it also does all sorts of stuff that DJs and radio stations would do to have it seamlessly go from one song to the other, like matching the beats and things like that. And there is a setting in the Settings app in Apps Music for song transitions where you can set it from Auto Mix to Crossfade if you prefer that. And going back to your lock screen, there's a neat music related feature of that. Now if you were to tap on the album artwork here in the live area of what's going on the lock screen, you can have the album artwork actually just fill your lock screen. There's also a new feature in the podcast app. When you're listening to a podcast, you can tap on the podcast there to get the details of what you're listening to. And if you tap where it shows speed, another option here is to enhance the dialogue. A great new feature of the Passwords app is that when you're viewing an individual password here, you now can view the history of that password. So if you make a change to your password and you're kind of afraid to lose that original one in case the change didn't take on the website, you don't have to worry about that anymore because you can go back and see the previous password in the history and just a whole little list of every time you've changed it or updated it and what it used to be. Now if you're not a fan of liquid glass, like for instance, here's what Control Center looks like in liquid glass, and you could see some of the background behind Control Center showing through. Well, you do have the option to kind of turn off that transparency. You want to go into Settings here and you're going to find this under Accessibility. You want to go to Display and then you just want to turn on Reduce Transparency. So now when you bring up Control Center you can see it's a totally solid color in the background. And one last new feature I want to show you is in the Maps app. In the Maps app now you can look at recents and it will keep a list of recent places that you've searched for, of course, recent places that you've gotten directions to, but also just recent places that you've been. So if you go to a restaurant but you didn't even use the Maps app to get there or anything like that, then it will still kind of pick that out and remember that here in the list. So there are a lot of the little things that you might find useful that are new in iOS 26. Thanks for watching.
So that's a lot of stuff on the new phones or a new operating system.
Yeah. The maps thing seemed kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know how many times you guys, but we're wandering around Walnut Creek or someplace, going to a little place, have dinner or something. And then later it's like we're trying to explain it to somebody else about where were we? And it's like, I don't remember, you know. And that's an aspect, but it also seems like they're keeping a little bit too close a track of me. I'd hate to have it accessible. You know what I mean? There's good and bad, but I mean, it's I use it Sharon, sorry.
I guess it's some people.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, that's kind of tracking where you're going, but
yeah.
But I can tell you though, sometimes I would try to go, oh, what was the name of that place? You know, I mean,
I've done that too many times because what happens is we end up going in there, having dinner, cocktails before, we go to the bar afterwards and end up at home somehow.
That's another problem.
Right. And you don't know what that's fine.
Just look on your credit card bill.
Yeah. Well, that's now. I mean, back in the days I was doing that, everything was cash. You know, I paid everything in cash. If I didn't have the money in my pocket, I couldn't afford to do it.
Jan has her hand up.
Yeah.
Unmute yourself, Jan.
Aaron was ahead of me.
Sorry. Oh, whoever. Jan, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
One of you go.
Well, go ahead, Sharon.
Oh, okay, thanks. Trying to get that light things, which yeah, iOS 26 on my contacts. I can't figure out what happened to delete. I'm getting a lot of double, names twice, and I can't find the delete on one of them or two of them. I don't know if I go into settings. I don't know if anybody else has had this problem or tried to reset there. That's all.
You may have synced to more than one place. Maybe you have Google contacts turned on and iCloud contacts turned on. Look in the column on the left, see where those are. You can have two sets of the same people in two different places.
Oh, I'm on the left. What are you talking about?
In contacts, in the column on the left.
On the contacts, okay.
Well, isn't that where you're seeing these duplicates? You know what you said?
Well, no, it's under when you go into, like, yes, contacts, I get their little, can you see that? You know, their little logo or initials. I don't know, on the left, do I swipe? No.
This is much easier if you do it on the Mac, and you can see the list of contacts,
Okay.
the groups that you made, and where you're syncing them to. It's possible, if I see people do this all the time, they'll sync to iCloud, they'll sync to Yahoo, they'll sync to Comcast, and they'll sync to Google. You can have 4 different places where in 4 different contact lists, and some of them will be the same, some of them are the same in one and not the other. You need to check out where you're syncing. If you have a lot of contacts, that's probably what's going on. Then
Yeah, I
a
don't,
lot of
okay,
duplicates.
no, this is not gonna, okay, I have one person I know, it's not on my Gmail or contact list. That's the only contact list on my Mac Mini that I have versus the iPhone with the 26.
Well,
Was
did
your
it not
question
happen
how-
before? Did it not happen before 26?
Right, no.
Because I do have a lot of repeated contacts, and I can delete one and it comes back, and I think Apple is doing it. It only makes a new name, repeated name, like for email address. It won't accept my emails. It
Okay.
has to make its own for some reason.
Okay.
On the
Okay.
Mac,
Yes,
you're doing
John.
this on the Mac, you can go up to the menu and you can say merge duplicates, and it will take the
Yeah,
ones
you
that are
used to be
duplicate
able
and merge them
to
down.
do that, right, on the phone.
It does it on the phone too.
It used to. I don't see it now.
It's
But
still-
you know, okay, John, I'll try going through the Mac. I mean, desktop.
You can do it on the phone still.
I don't see it.
Can you tell us how, Mike?
Okay, well, I'm looking at it now, and you open up your contacts, and I go to my list, and it says all iCloud, and I tap on that.
Okay.
And then I scroll to the very, very top. You know, go past A1 Tire and Brake and Alyssa, and it says 3 duplicates found. I view them, and it says, "Do you want to merge them?" And I go, "Yeah."
No, I don't have that.
Yeah, you don't have duplicates then.
I have iCloud under
Right.
iCloud, so I can check the rest, right?
Okay, or try restarting your phone. Maybe that'll do it.
No,
Would
I
it-
do that every day.
Okay, well,
So much.
I'm just saying, I
Okay,
was curious,
some
and I,
options. I'll check around. Very odd. Okay. Get
Usually
back
what
to
that
you.
means, Sharon, is that you don't have duplicates. That it only shows up if you have duplicates.
yeah, because you may have like John and his phone number, another one is John and his email, another one is John and his another thing.
Or John's space
Right.
something.
Right.
So-
Why can't I delete one of those?
You should be able to delete it.
You should be able to delete it.
it,
Yeah, no,
problem.
it's not there.
If-
Okay,
But
you know
you
what?
have to edit the contact, and then at the
Um,
bottom you can remove it.
Yeah, let me double check and see what's going on later. That's fine. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So,
Question.
yes, Jan.
I hope we get an update to Sharon's problem, because I'd like to hear that too. Let's see, my question was about Gary and his videos, and I had thought that I'd like to, I'm willing to join Patreon. I'd give him some money, but I don't want to have $5 a month on my credit card every month. I'm willing to pay once a year. And I could not find any place to do that or ask about it, either with Patreon or writing Gary or anything.
Yes, you brought that up before, and we determined there's no way to do that.
Okay.
You can email Gary and ask him to please do that. But
Well,
it's not
how would I get an email for Gary? I couldn't find one.
on his webpage. I'm sure there's a contact, but
Yeah,
that's
macmost.com.
that's not controlled by Gary. It's controlled by the Patreon service. So
Yeah.
he can't just do it on his own. The Patreon service would have to add that feature. So
But if you
Well,
go to
look,
Gary, he might have more pull with Patreon than you do.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
Patreon doesn't know you like we know you, Jan. That's all there is to it.
Not yet. Okay, thanks.
Anyone else?
I'm still this is Richard's phone. Go ahead.
Ooh. Hi, Carol.
Hi. I'm sure this is off the subject, but I looked at my iPhone settings and there is a new updater that I haven't installed. And I touched, I thought maybe I could do it quickly. I touched update now and I have all these terms and conditions.
Okay, so this is
Click-
not
click
related
I
to
agree.
the videos we're watching. Let's continue with
any-
the videos. This is for general Q&A, what you're asking.
Okay.
You just have to agree and continue.
Well,
Always that way. You always ask you to click agree and
it was a
continue.
long one.
Yeah, I know. Agree. Update.
Adam and Eve had what terms and agreements in the Garden of Eden too. You just click on agree and you go.
Well,
It wasn't that
makes
long
it
ago
long.
about that.
Do what it
That's
wants.
the first time I read that stuff.
It was written in stone.
Well, it was written on an apple, but
Oh, on an apple? Okay.
Let's move on with the next video. We can hold
Yeah.
on. You try to do it. If you don't get it answered by Q&A, then we'll go into it.
Okay. So here we
Let's go to the
go.
next video.
Lawyers get
This-
paid by the word.
Here's everything you want to know about the iOS, according to Alan, the iOS tips.
Hi everyone, Ellen from Ellen's Tips for iOS. Today we're taking a look at the brand new iOS 26 update for iPhone. Apple has added some exciting features, made some changes to familiar apps, and given the iPhone a fresh new look. If you've just updated or you're thinking about it, stick around. I'll show you the highlights, what's most useful for us seniors, and a few settings you may want to adjust right away. Let's get started. First, let's talk about the new design Apple calls liquid glass. You'll notice things look a little smoother with rounded corners and some see-through menus. It's modern and stylish, but don't worry, if it's harder to read, you can increase text size or turn on bold text to make everything clearer. So let's take a look at this a little bit more closely. If I swipe over to come into the app library, you're going to see that the icons look a little bit different. There's more transparency to them. If I swipe down from the middle of the screen to access my notification center, you're going to see that everything on there is more transparent. But we can change some of this stuff up. If you're having a harder time seeing these things, you can go to the Settings app. So I'm going to swipe up. Let's come into the Settings app. You're also going to see that Apple changed my circle. I'm using a mouse to do this, and they changed the circle to an actual pointer. I'm going to tap on Settings to open it, and you can see the Settings app looks a little bit different. I'll tap on it to open it, and then let's come into Display and Brightness. And you'll see even where the text and bold text is located, it's a little rounder, the edges. I can turn on bold text and you'll see that that changes things up a little bit. If I tap on text size, I can increase the text size and slide it up to a level that's more comfortable for your eyes to read. The phone app has been redesigned to be simpler. Recent calls, contacts, and voicemails are easier to find, so you can get to the people you call most without digging around. So let's open the phone app, and you'll see your most recent calls appear directly on the screen. If you want to get to your contacts, you can tap Contacts or the keypad. I'm going to come back to Calls. Up here in the upper right corner is a menu icon. If I tap on that, you'll see that I can choose Classic or I can choose Unified. You also have the option to go directly to your missed calls, voicemail, and spam. And then you have an option for managing filtering. In Messages, Apple added fun touches like new backgrounds and polls for group chats. But the big help for seniors is better spam and junk filtering. Unknown senders are sorted out more clearly, so you don't have to worry as much about confusing or suspicious texts. So we're inside of the messaging app. Again, I'll tap on the menu in the upper right corner. You'll see that you have messages, spam, recently deleted. If I tap on messages right now, I don't have any. Let me come back to the main messages area. If I tap into a message and I want to change the background of that message, right now it's set to none. But if I tap on the name of the group or the name of the person, you'll see an option appears for backgrounds. You can select a background. It can be a color. You can go into Image Playground and create an AI image. But if I just tap on Photos and then choose one, kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like. I'll tap on the check mark in the upper right corner. I'll tap back, and now you'll see that that text message has a new background. I'm inside the Photos app, and the Photos app also got a refresh. Instead of scrolling forever to find something, photos are now grouped in a cleaner way. Albums are easier to navigate, and searching for a specific memory like dog, cat, or beach is faster. This is perfect for keeping track of family pictures or old vacation memories without frustration. So as you can see now, your library is right in front of you. And then if I want to get into the collections area, if I tap on that, now I can come into that collection area where I can see all of the other features that the Photos app has. One of the most practical updates for seniors is Adaptive Power Mode. This automatically dials back performance if your battery is running low, so your iPhone lasts longer between charges. If you've ever been out and seen the dreaded red low battery icon, this is going to help. You can still use low power mode anytime, but adaptive power gives you a little extra cushion without you having to even think about it. So we'll open the Settings app, we'll come into Battery, and we're going to come into Power Mode. So let me scroll down. We're going to come into Power Mode, and you'll see Adaptive Power at the top. Just toggle that switch on, and then if you want to receive notifications about it, you'll go ahead and toggle that on as well. And this just gives you a little extra cushion of battery without ever having to think about it. Apple also added more accessibility features. These tools are designed to help with vision, hearing, or even just simplifying how the phone works. For example, you can use the magnifier now to zoom in on small print, live speech if you'd rather type and have your phone read or speak to you, or you can adjust color filters for better contrast. Take a few minutes to come into the accessibility. So I'm already in the Settings app. Tap on Accessibility, and then go through and you'll find options that can really make daily use easier. Apple Intelligence brings smarter features to your iPhone. For example, you can translate conversations live right on a call or in text. So if you're traveling or talking with someone who speaks another language, your phone can help bridge the gap instantly. So if I open the text messaging app, I put in a message in Spanish. If I just push and hold on that message, tap on Translate, it automatically translates that for me. I can even tap on this little play button to listen to it. Not every iPhone supports all of these features. You'll need one of the newer models, but it's worth checking what's available on your device. A quick note, when Apple redesigns apps, things may look or feel different. Don't be surprised if buttons are in new spots. Give yourself a little time to get used to it. Also, If the new transparent design feels too bright, try turning on dark mode or using increased contrast in accessibility settings. That way your screen is comfortable for your eyes. So I'm on the main screen. If I push and hold on it and I tap Edit in the upper left corner and I tap on Customize, you'll see the option comes up. This is the default setting that I have right now, but I could turn on dark mode, and that changes the look a little bit and may make it easier for you to see. Here's what clear looks like, tinted, and here you can adjust the colors. So you can change the color of the tinting by dragging this little slider around. And this way you can make the screen comfortable for your eyes. So that's a quick tour of iOS 26, from the fresh new design to easier calling and messaging, smarter photos, better battery life, and handy accessibility features. In the coming weeks, I'll be diving deeper into these updates. So if you'd like a step-by-step look at things like customizing the new phone app, getting the most out of adaptive power, or exploring Apple Intelligence, make sure to stick around. And if you'd like a step-by-step PDF guide showing exactly how to adjust the text size, turn on dark mode, and customize these features for seniors, you'll find a link in the description below to sign up for my free weekly newsletter. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
So there we go.
One thing
Another version of
she didn't mention that Gary did is if you have a problem reading the liquid glass transparency because it's not as sharp as it was, that's in accessibility. There's two things. One is increase contrast and the other is turn off transparency. You can toggle them and see what works better for you.
And something I think both of them have mentioned, when you can change the background in a group chat, bear in mind, so can anybody else. So if you think it'll be nice to have like John's background of Mount Diablo or whatever, and somebody says, well, I'd rather have graffiti, you can go back and forth quite a bit and be quite annoying.
Oh, geez.
Well, I mean, if you can do it, somebody else can do it.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
So you can't turn it off so you don't get their background, so you just have default.
From the things I've seen, that was one of the cautionary tales on one of the TikToks I was saying. It goes, bear in mind how cool this is. You may think it's cool to have a jack-o'-lantern up there, and then the other person said
the other person doesn't have to, they don't have the choice to accept it or not. They get it.
They get it.
Like
and so they turn around and say, well, I'm going to change the background to, something else.
Well, enough people complain about it. Apple changes stuff. They changed the Photos app. People hated the new Photos app with the long list under the library. Well, they changed that.
Yeah.
There'll be a novel, The Background Wars.
They're big on putting backgrounds everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, a quick comment to Bruce.
Yes, sir.
At the boot camp on Saturday, there was a iPhone Cosmic Orange. Part of my thrill with Cosmic Orange was seeing it on Rick's TV. His TV is incredible, and it looked a lot cooler. It's still cool. I'm still going to get it because I'm still jealous of Dick over there. But I could see where you could call it pumpkin if you wanted to.
Oh, okay. I have eye issues.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's a pumpkin color of one I'd eat, but I could see where you could call it pumpkin.
Yeah, that's all I can really say is it looks like a pumpkin to me. So, but
the really cool.
But as long as you're talking about that, I saw on YouTube today. YouTubers are horrible. They did some weird, destructive stuff to new phones, especially the pumpkin one. Whatever. They use box openers and all kinds of stuff. So if you're thinking of a new phone, especially you with the whatever I want to call it, the right color, make sure you get a case, so it doesn't get scratched. They say because it's aluminum, it's not as strong as titanium.
Right. The new iPhone's very scratchable. There's a lot out there about that.
There, I didn't want to say that, Bill, but thank you. They easily scratch this aluminum stuff is
Well,
easily scratched. So get a case.
the air is not aluminum, it is titanium, and people were worried about bending them. But some guys like took a brand new one and like put 200 pounds on in the middle of it and it didn't bend. It's
Didn't do
titanium is
anything,
very
huh?
strong.
Oh,
Then they put it in a hydraulic press and broke
Right.
one.
You're not gonna.
well,
It's stronger than the Pro. The titanium is, the air is stronger. But they did
Is there
the
another
air.
video?
yeah, there is
Yes.
a short one.
I think so.
There's this one's from IBM and how to customize again iOS 26, OS 26. So here, how to customize your home screen on iPhone and iPad.
Give your iPhone or iPad a makeover with new home screen customization options in iOS 26 and iPadOS 26. Here's how. First, touch and hold your home screen. When the apps start to jiggle, tap Edit in the top left corner. Now, you can add widgets or edit your wallpaper and home screen pages, but we'll tap Customize to adjust the appearance of app icons and widgets. Tap the Large button in the top right corner of the Customize menu if you'd like larger app icons without labels. For a greater focus on your app icons, tap the Dim button to darken the wallpaper. To choose dark icons and widgets, tap Dark. You can tap Auto to have a dark appearance at night and a light appearance during the day. You can also choose Clear or Tinted. Each option also has light or dark appearances to choose from, or Auto to set the appearance based on the time of day. And when you select Tinted, you can use the sliders to adjust the color and saturation. We'll choose Clear, which lets your wallpaper shine through your dock, app icons, and widgets. When you're done, tap anywhere outside the menu. This is great! Now, you're ready to customize your home screen.
It's great, and you really can't see it when it's transparent with clear icons.
That's a good one.
Yeah, you ever get the impression this was all made for like 13-year-old kids? Because, yeah.
You can make it really ugly.
I got into that and I could not see those icons correctly, so I just didn't turn it on. Anyway, at the beginning I said the lady with a hand up was for questions, and the beer with pretzels was the guy's version of happy time or happy hour. So questions, answers.
Yeah, we can for any questions or comments about any of the videos or anything, or else we'll go to Q&A for and end this recording. Last call. Okay, we'll see you later. DVMUG members watching this on YouTube, you know the drill by now, who you are. You can get a link on the BBS for the next Q&A session.